All right, we got some things to talk about. First of all, you could make that goal happen. But more importantly, I want to talk about community. There's been some, in the last couple of days, last week or so, by the time you get this, maybe it's been 2 weeks, but there's been some frustration in the community, mainly about the Crazy Brew Rudy Patreon exclusive promo. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the idea that Flesh and Blood, and this applies to Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But honestly, I've kind of given up on Magic the Gathering's community, is what we're going to be talking about. But here's the thing, Flesh and Blood, this is a game that we play across the table from one another. So to create an environment where the community is toxic, the community is not fun to be around, is not a win for anybody. And we see this in Magic the Gathering all the time, where you just don't really want to be friends with the person you're playing against. And I think that's bad for the community, and I think that's bad for the game, and especially Flesh and Blood. I mean, you probably, unless you're in New Zealand or across, if you're in the United States, you probably know a handful, maybe, of people in real life that play this game. And so in order to teach other people, we have to have a welcoming atmosphere. And that's what I want to get into with this Rudy promo thing, is that I saw a post on Facebook, and thankfully the comment section was much healthier than the post. I'm not going to call anybody out by name, but it made me frustrated that here's this great thing that is great for the game, and that I would venture to say most of the American players of Flesh and Blood have come from Rudy's influence, or a good deal of it. He has progressed the game quite a bit, and yet this post was so negative about Rudy offering a promo, which is limited to 800 patrons for Rudy, and then I think the overall Crazy Brew promo is getting 2,000 prints. And man, it was just so negative, and it reminded me of the negativity of this post reminded me of the negativity that Magic the Gathering saw with The Walking Dead, and not nearly as extreme because the game isn't as big, so you don't have those huge big swings. But man, I don't want to see it happen like that. And here's the thing, we need to remember that Flesh and Blood is still in its infancy. And when you have an infant, I don't know if you have kids, but I have an 18-month-old. When you have an infant, you give them all the food they want. You give them all the food they need. It's not like, oh, it's lunchtime, I'm not going to feed you, or it's lunchtime, or I'm not going to feed you until lunchtime. It's like when the baby cries, you give them a bottle, right? Like, and in the same way, in an infancy state of a game like this, you have to keep feeding it. You have to keep providing it. You have to keep giving it new and flashy things, and things that excite the community. And so that's why I don't understand the hatred towards this promo. I don't understand the people who are so against it. Yeah, and maybe it's that you can't get it because you're not a patron, or I think 1,200 of them are going out to armory events too, or maybe you don't have an armory event that you can't get it. At the end of the day, it's like a $200 card that you can't get, and that's okay. Like, you don't even need to play it, really. Like, it's not really even like a key. It's not like one of the heroes is locked behind a huge wall. I mean, how hard is it to get Cheyenne? It's gonna cost you more than $200 to get Cheyenne, and you're not upset about that. Is it because it's just random? Like, I don't get it. And here's the thing, people like Rudy, who have taken a risk on this product, and he was I think a year ago selling WTR Alpha Edition, and had a hard time getting patrons to buy that, and even Arcane Rising, having a hard time to get patrons to buy that, and it's a risk for him to take that, and you have to take care of those who take risks on you. And so I think the Legend Story Studios is doing a great thing by helping out these content creators. I saw DM Armada got a package and got to open up a Flesh and Blood lore book and a Cold Foil Cassie, and it's good. You got to feed the community. You got to feed the content creators in the community who are bringing great things. And so this crazy brew promo, it is not something to be upset about. I'm sorry, but it's just not. It is a good thing for the community. It's a beautiful card. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure you have, but it is an absolute beautiful card. I would love to see them do more cards of that kind of style. Not too many. I want to keep them special, but it's a great thing to give to somebody who has taken a risk and be able to provide his patrons and provide his community members with something unique and exciting. And so I just don't understand the frustration. Sorry, the video turned off. I just don't understand the frustration behind this card that is, you can get a regular version of the card for $1.50. It doesn't limit the play. It doesn't limit the thing. It's just a shiny card. So I don't get it. And in this last bit, the last thing I want to say is I hate for this community to become like Magic the Gathering, where anywhere you go online, we're just bashing the company of Wizards of the Coast. And Magic the Gathering, they're doing a lot of bad things right now. But if you look from the outside, if you are a person who's just, maybe you're stumbling upon Magic the Gathering, like, oh man, I play Hearthstone, or oh man, I play another game, I'm interested in getting involved. So then you go to the Reddit, or you look online, and literally every comment is negative and negative and negative and negative. It's hard for you to become a part of that community. It's hard for you to want to be a part of something when everybody in the community is just so negative about it. And rightfully so in many ways with Magic the Gathering. But here's the thing. Legend Story Studios is not Wizards of the Coast. And so far, they've been very receptive of any community feedback and any opinions. And it's not fair to just jump on them about this promo. It just seems like there are more important things that we need to be worried about than this promo. And here's the other thing. Legend Story Studios eventually is going to make a mistake. And it's up to us as a community to understand and to handle those mistakes in a way that allows them to grow and doesn't just tear them down. Doesn't just be negative. We have to find a way to be positive about things and help them grow through these. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some things. This company is set off to do a really big, ambitious thing. And with a negative community, that's going to be hard. With a positive community that is not just waiting for them to fail, but is helping to build them up, it makes it a little bit easier. And then I just go back to this idea of, man, a handful of people that play the game, right? Like in your local area. And if we're negative about it, it's just harder to get more people. And the goal here is to get more people to play the game of Flesh and Blood. Because if you're watching this video, care about the game of Flesh and Blood, or maybe you're interested in the game of Flesh and Blood. And it's just not a whole lot of fun to just collect the cards. Now, it is fun to just collect the cards, but it's more than that. It's about meeting together and playing against other people and experiencing a game and the conversations that happen around the table. And so we want more people to be playing and not just negative in the community. And that, again, not to say that the whole community is being negative. This was just a very, it was the first time I saw a negative reaction to something since I've been a part of the community. And it just kind of tickled me the wrong way. And I would love for us to not gravitate towards, there's so much hate in Magic the Gathering community. I think we're better than that. I think that Flesh and Blood, hopefully we can be a community that is helpful to the company. Hopefully we can be a community that is rooting for the company and not just waiting for the company to make a mistake and to complain about it. And it's important to see both sides of something. In a crazy brew, a cold foil promo, I just don't think that's the thing that you want to get upset about. I just don't think that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it for that to be the negative. And again, I think it's created some really cool trades and community stuff where people in the Patreon who were able to get the Crazy Brew promo are already trying to trade it for other Flesh and Blood cards. And and that cycle of new people to trade with, and that's really good. That's really healthy for the community. It doesn't seem like it's super. I mean, it seems like the price is hovering about $150, $250, and for Flesh and Blood card, that's pretty good. But you can still, trade for it, and it's not ridiculous. It's not like you're trading for a $4,000, heart or whatever it is, and so it's still reachable, I think, for everybody. And there's 1,200 of them more coming out in the next month or 2 months, wherever, however they do the armory events. So I think that price is going to be there for a while. So that's my words. That's my opinion. Again, this is all just an opinion. I just think we want to be a community that is engaging for people, that is supportive of the company. And not to say that when they make a mistake, we shouldn't call them out. But when they make a mistake, we should have a dialogue about it. And we should not just be negative in our posts, but say, hey, what do you think about this? And the post I saw was very negative towards the Legend Story Studios, and kind of a very extreme view. And anytime there's 2 extremes, you usually meet in the middle to find the happy zone. And so anyway, that's all I got. Make sure you care about the people around you, be nice to them, but also care about the people you're talking to on the internet. And just because somebody has a different opinion than you doesn't mean that you're right, doesn't mean that you're wrong, doesn't mean that they're right, doesn't mean that they're wrong. But let's try to see each other's point of view and understand that Legend Story Studios kind of knows what they're doing. They've been hitting it out of the park so far. I don't think that the Crazy Brew promo is the end of the game. So that's my opinion. Have a good day.